Okay, welcome everybody to Speaking of Zane, August the 14th, halfway through the month of August 2022. This is our, 202nd week of Speaking of Zane. How about that? And I don't always have a whole lot to say, but like I say in the broadcast announcement, just keeping his memory alive by speaking his name. So if I just showed up and said Zane McDonald, then I've achieved my objective for the evening. But we do have a couple things to talk about. Let's see who is with us tonight. Colin Krim. Hey, Colin. Let me think if I can remember where Colonel Krim is. Albuquerque, I think. Lori's in there. Lori is downstairs. Daryl's in there. Hey, Daryl, good to have you in there. Carl Q is on board, watching from Missouri. Steve Shirley in Nebraska. Ken, hey, Ken, welcome back. We missed you. Ken and Janet have been on a European vacation, including a cruise, I think, through the Greek Isles or the Mediterranean, or I don't know exactly which one, but good to have you back there, Ken. Let's see, I think Jim's in there. And my buddy Aaron from up in Michigan. Aaron, did you see a couple of one of Zane's battle buddies was eating today? Him and his wife were eating at Bubba 33. Is that the name of it in Taylor? His father lives in that area. They're about an hour north. And anyway, they ate at Bubba 33. Today. Is that what it's called? I think that's what it's called. I know you have a connection with them with sponsorship and stuff at the VFW. All right, let's see. Yep, just Jim Miller. Hey, Jim Miller. Dad's in there. Hey, Dad. How's it going? Yeah, Bubba 33. Yep, Taylor, Michigan. All right, Jim and Carl are catching up with each other. Dad's in there. Let's see. All right. Well, we'll have some more joining along the way, I'm sure. And we do have quite a few people who watch the recording on either my Facebook page, the Speaking of Zane Facebook group, or on YouTube. All right. Well, let's see. What do we got going? We had some birthdays this past week. I barely remembered, Lori reminded me. Well, she didn't really remind me, but she reminded me. But her birthday was last week. Thursday was her birthday, August the 11th. And, of course, Charlotte was in town. So Charlotte, Hannah, and Lori and I went out to dinner at one of our favorite little country spots, Doug's. There's Terry Bass. Speaking of country, he's in Kansas City. Well, last week I didn't announce it, and you said there was nothing going on this next week, and that reminded me of your birthday was going on this week. That's what reminded me. Anyway, so Lori had a birthday, and let's see. No, you reminded me to mention it on here. I had already bought you a card, so I didn't forget. Let's see, Aunt Paula had a birthday too. Aunt Paula had a birthday. Hey, they're speaking of Aunt Paula. She comes right in there on time. And I know Aunt Paula had a birthday. I forget the exact date. And then a couple of other casual listeners, Matt, a couple of coworkers of mine, Matt Adcock had a birthday last week, and Matt Matter had a birthday last week, a couple of Matts. And then we had an anniversary last week. Ken and Janet, while on their cruise, had an anniversary. Ken, tell us in the chat what it was, but I want to say 36. I don't remember. Which one's the same as yours, Lori? Is it Aunt Paula's that's the same as yours? August 11th. I know there's another person that's August 11th. 33. Okay, 33. 33, Ken. Well, congratulations to you too. When you get into your 30s, that is an achievement for sure. All right, so Lori, Paula, Matt, Ken, and Janet. There was also an anniversary, a 14th anniversary this past week Um, a buddy of mine and a buddy of some of yours there, Spud, and his wife Connie. Spud was a tanker pilot, later a Delta captain, took the early retirement during COVID, I believe. Connie, his wife, they live in Colorado now, but they have been the purveyors of an enterprise for 14 years now, pilotballcaps.com, all one word, well, two words, pilotballcaps.com. And they are rocking and rolling. They got a whole new lineup of hats and stuff. I checked out their website today, but I know Spud drops in every now and then. And Spud, happy anniversary to you and Connie, and pilotballcaps.com. I have quite a few of those caps from Spud, some that I've purchased and some that he's just given me. Good stuff. All right, let's see. Yeah, we had quite a flurry of birthdays. I know my niece Kaylee, my sister Sharon's daughter Kaylee, her son Grant had a birthday too. That's right. All right, let's see. Well, I mentioned Charlotte was here last week. I had picked her up from the airport late Saturday night, and so she was here the whole week. She caught up with some friends, and the main reason she came is her and Jackson, Caitlin, who is Jackson's wife, and Alyssa, who was Zane's sister-in-law, Abby's sister, Alyssa. They went to the Red Hot Chili Peppers concert Wednesday night, and had a good old time. They went to Truist Park where the Braves play. It was an outdoor, and they had a fabulous time. They tell me. Hannah and I saw them just a few years ago here in Atlanta, but a great show they put on, and I'm glad Charlotte was able to come out and go to the concert with them. But she did a combination of catching up with friends and going to the concert, and she worked during the day. She would get up and work, remotely, of course. She went to the coffee shop most mornings around the corner here. And Ken see, those Air Force missile officers are sharp. Don't let anybody fool you. Don't let their looks fool you. They are sharp. Ken's getting ahead of the game here, as he often does. That's okay. But so they had a good time. Charlotte had a good time this week, and I got a chance to spend some time. Lori wasn't feeling too good this week, but I got to spend some time with Jackson, Charlotte, and Caitlin at Jackson's Work, which is a brewery. And so we got to hang out at the brewery for a little bit Friday night. The weather was absolutely gorgeous. And so I got to spend some time with them. And then Saturday, Charlotte went to the pool with Hannah and Everett. And then let me think. I got to hang out with my little granddaughter Carson Saturday morning. Lori was having some issues, some digestive issues, and anyway, Carson had stayed the night with us, and so I got up with her on Saturday and got her up and going, and breakfast and all of that stuff, and then took her home to her mama about lunchtime, and then came home and got around to replacing the brake pads on the back of Lori's Kia Sorrento. So I got that knocked out. So much better. Why do we always wait so late to change those brake pads? I guess, I don't know why. Human nature. But so I had a productive Saturday, and then today I got up and took Charlotte to the airport. So that's where I was headed. Got up this morning, was up about 7, got some coffee, loaded Charlotte up, drove her down to the airport. Easy drive down, 45 minutes. No traffic, thank goodness. Right through the gut of Atlanta, and pulled up to the North Terminal, kicked her out, and headed back home. Had another cup of coffee, and pulled her flight up on FlightAware and tracked her all the way home. She was on a 737 MAX, so I was kind of worried. But she was on Alaska Air. But you saw the very nice picture she posted when she got there of Mount Rainier there as they were on approach to SeaTac. But it was good to have her here. We hadn't seen her in a little while. What has it been, Lori? About a year? At least a year, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. Did she come? I don't know. It all runs together. Once they leave, I don't know. My time continuum, I don't know. Anyway, but she made it back okay. Checked in once she got there, and got a little work in today after I got home from taking her. Lori's got a little spot around the side of the house where. That's right, Lori, but I didn't get to see him. That's why I don't remember it, because they stayed at Jackson's house. Anyway, I put up, Lori doesn't even know this yet, but there's this little area on the side of the house where her little dog goes. And I put a solar-powered floodlight out there. So when we take the dog out at night, you're not in jeopardy of twisting an ankle or something. Got that hung up. And then decided to go ahead and tackle that expansion tank. You remember last week I was bragging about replacing the pressure reducing valve, and finally got around to testing the expansion tank. Sure enough, it had filled with water. I don't know if you know anything about these expansion tanks, but half of it is air and half of it's water. The bladder, it's pressurized, and it allows water to come into it as it naturally expands in the hot water heater, and then the pressure makes it go back in the hot water heater. Anyway, that bladder had ruptured, or the diaphragm had ruptured anyway. So I ran out to Home Depot, grabbed one, used my military discount, 10%, and got home and put that bad boy in. So got that off the to-do list. And cooked a air fryer pork tenderloin with some broccoli. So how about that for a Sunday? And how about a weight loss report? After eating like pretty much anything I want except for sugar and carbs. Although I did eat a couple of potatoes this week, a couple of small, what do you call those, new potatoes? Anyway. Drum roll, 55 pounds. 55 pounds. I lost another pound this week. But Charlotte and I walked every day this week, pretty much every day. I walked every day. She walked with me most days, and do a 2-mile circuit. So, yep, 55 pounds. So 5 more pounds will be my next benchmark. All right, let's see. I mentioned they were at the ballpark. The Braves are on a roll. I don't know if my cousin Toby's in here, but the Braves are doing pretty good after winning some games in Boston, and now a couple in Miami, and now 3 in Miami, I guess, and doubleheader yesterday. And now they're on the way back home, and they will play the Mets head-to-head. So we got an opportunity to catch up or fall behind. We'll see what happens. Well, I mentioned my dad. My dad's in there. I mentioned my sister has been keeping me up to date on their activities, and happy to say that my mom is home from the hospital. I think she was in the hospital for 8 days, and my sis was sick. My dad was sick. My mom was sick and fell. Anyway, she was in the hospital. My sister is a saint, and she took care of both of them. And she says that dad's in really good shape now, and she was able to get over there during her lunch breaks and after work, before work, and all that stuff. So, but looks like everybody is on the mend. I'm so happy about that. We got to get down there for sure pretty soon. Overdue, definitely overdue for a visit. All right, let's see. So hat of the week. I always wear a ball cap. I'm a ball cap guy, and I have a few of them. I don't know how many, but I'm usually wearing a ball cap. So I decided we would do a hat of the week update every week. And I've been doing that because it's goofy. And anyway, so because Charlotte was here, she lives in Seattle. She's my baseball buddy, and she flew back home to Seattle today. The hat of the week, you guessed it, Ken, Seattle Mariners. That is the Seattle Mariners. And actually, Charlotte's going to be going to her very first Mariners game since living up there. Next month, I think she said. And it happens to be that the Braves are in town. That's an odd pairing. It's an interleague play, and it's very odd that Atlanta's ever gone up to Seattle. But anyway, she will see her first Mariners game since living in Seattle, and it'll be against her Braves. So how about that? And Lori is right. The Dodgers are on absolute fire. I don't know how anybody's going to deal with them. No doubt about that. Okay, well, what do we got here this week in military history? I only pulled one thing because I ran out of time. Did you hear that list of things I got done over the last couple of days? But I did see one this last week, August 6th, actually, the week before last, was the anniversary of August 6, 2011, the anniversary of a downed helicopter in Afghanistan, call sign Extortion 17. And if you recall, that was packed full of mostly Navy SEALs, but we lost 30 Americans on that single shoot down. Just a terrible, terrible occurrence. There were actually 38 people killed on Extortion 17. There were 17 Navy SEALs, 2 Air Force pararescuemen, 1 Air Force combat controller, 1 pilot and 2 crewmen from the Army Reserve, 1 pilot, 1 crewman from the Army National Guard, 7 members of the Afghan National Security Forces, and 1 Afghan interpreter. There was also a military working dog on board killed, but just a terrible occurrence there. And that's the only this week in history item that I pulled. Yeah, so Lori, good question, Lori. Lori asked a very good question, because as long as she's known me, I've been a hat guy, and she's known me 40 years now. And I've always had a lot of hats, and they've survived. Many of them have survived the various moves that we made. But this tells you she hasn't been in my little man cave for a little bit. There's probably 120, maybe 150 hats, all caps. I'll have to post a picture on the Facebook group there so you guys can see how I've got them arranged there. Anyway. All right, Veteran Cemetery Challenge. We got a very interesting one here this week. We've got the normal visits that we have from Daryl, who placed just an awesome purple bouquet at his wife Wanda's headstone this past week. He says she loved purple, and it was a nice one. And Daryl always does a great job of documenting his visits. And we had an interesting one this week. Thank you to Carl and Peggy, who visited. We're in Springfield, and visited Springfield National Cemetery. Now, it's not a new one for us because Daryl has been there, and maybe Amy. I don't remember, but I know Daryl has been there. But Carl, thank you for posting that. You visited there, and we got it added to the list, the roster there. So, with Carl and Peggy's visit to Springfield and Daryl's to Jefferson Barracks, we are at 2 visits for the week, 659 total visits since we started doing these shenanigans, to 158 different locations. Yeah, you're right, Lori. There are some of those old hats didn't make it. Some of those old hats, through various moves, didn't make it. Gosh, there were some that got moldy. in various places. And anyway, I do have a lot of the originals. So did I mention my ball cap guy? Okay, so we got 659 visits. How about the Thank a Vet Challenge? There's a couple that I know of this week. I thanked the Vietnam vet at the Home Depot day. I mentioned I went over there to get the expansion tank, and boy, he was surprised and kind of taken aback a little bit. And you can see a little pep in his step after I said thank you, and that felt good. And then got to meet and thank a Desert Storm veteran, Desert Storm Army vet at work, new to our company. Got to tell him thank you. So we are at 1,582. We're coming up on 1,600. Remember, it wasn't that long ago we hit the 1,000 mark. And remember, Lori had this very nice banner made. Let me see if I can show you guys the banner. How do I? Oh, okay, hang on a second, because my remote control will not working. Well, batteries don't last forever. Anyway, you guys remember that when we hit 1,000 thank yous. And well, I'll have to do that later. This one is not wanting to open up. So, okay, you'll take my word for it. All right, so that's the Thank a Vet Challenge. What about organizations? Well, nothing really new. See, I do have a couple of guys. I keep mentioning this, but it looks like it's going to finally happen. But I got a couple of my colleagues in Tampa ready to make a visit to my Warriors place down near Tampa on this Thursday. So they're going to go out there. Remember, we're working on the network there, the Wi-Fi. If we can get things switched over the way that we need to, Kelly can save about $800 a month on the cable bill out there. So we're kind of motivated to do that, but I just can't get down there right now. But I got a couple of guys willing to run out there, and we'll get a little recon run in on Thursday. And well, we're going to go sometime. I just can't go this week. Well, there's Katie Aaron. Hey, Katie, another Michiganite up there. Let's see. Last thing, it's on the Heroes Lost or Wounded section, and it's really terrible. Really a terrible occurrence coming up on the anniversary of the, in my opinion, botched withdrawal from Afghanistan by all accounts. A young Marine called Lance Corporal Kareem Nakui was 20 years old from Norco, California. You may remember he was one of the 13 Marines killed, or 13 killed. They weren't all Marines because there was a soldier in there, I believe, but there were 13 killed, if I recall. We're coming up on the anniversary, August 26th. But this Lance Corporal Kareem Nakui, 20 years old, of Norco, California, he had a brother. He had an older brother, and his older brother's name was what is his name? Dakota Halverson. Dakota Halverson was Corporal Nakui's big brother, and this past week, his brother killed himself, and his mom said he just couldn't. It just ate him up, and he couldn't. He just finally cracked and couldn't deal with the loss of his little brother. And so now you have a mom who's lost her Marine son, and now his big brother. Just a terrible, terrible thing. Yeah, and I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to get political on here either, but I think it was a miserable, disastrous mistake the way we did it. How do you argue that? I don't know how you argue that. I mean, I know things happen and war is ugly in the first place, but anyway, it's just terrible. And the effects of that, the effects of those decisions, have far-reaching impacts, and they will forever, as you see here. But you may recall that our friend Jim here, who goes out to Omaha National regularly, swings by there to see one of the fallen, one of the 13, Corporal Dagan Page from Beaver Lake, who was one of the 13 killed that day when Corporal Nakui was killed. But just a tragedy. Okay, folks. Well, sorry to end it on a sad note, but hey, that's life. I'll tell you what, that is life. It is unfortunate for sure, but and it seems an impossible task that we could help everybody, each of us. But like Ronald Reagan, one of my favorite all-time quotes from Ronald Reagan says, when confronted with that dilemma, how do you help everybody? He said very famously, we can't help everyone, but everyone can help someone. And boy, wouldn't that, isn't that the truth? I mean, think about it. Just the math works. But anywho, well, have a great week, everybody. Back at it. Like I said, I had hoped somewhere along the way in August to get down there to my Warriors place. We'll get down there for sure. I'm just not quite sure when, and it could be at the last minute when it happens, but we'll certainly report our activities there if they occur. All right, everybody. Well, have a good week. Have a great week, either at work or play or school. Or I know a lot of kids going back to school, so a lot of parents are happy for sure. But we'll look forward to seeing everybody again next Sunday night for, I guess it'll be the 203rd edition of Speaking of Zane. And maybe I'll be down to, maybe I'll be 56 pounds lost. We'll see. I'm gonna try to accelerate my path to 60. I've got a personal goal there. But anywho, we'll see everybody next week. God bless you, everybody. Thank you guys for joining. This is therapy for me, and you guys are my therapists. Thank you very much for that. We'll see you guys next week.